Hi, I'm Audrey Shulman, the writer of Hallmark movies Love, Fall, and Order, The 27-Hour Day, and As Luck Would Have It, welcome to Page to Screen.
Cop, and welcome to Page to Screen, where we explore the art and craft of screenwriting and independent filmmaking in Tennessee. Tonight, we are talking with screenwriter Audrey Shulman. We are going to shift topics a little bit. I'm looking at the audience because I know the audience is all dying to know about your experience working with Hallmark.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Because Hallmark churns out movies. They are a machine. How did you become a part of that machine? How did you get in there?
So my boss and mentor, who was so good to me in recommending that we send a copy of my book to the producer that she had met, she eventually went to work for the Hallmark Channel. She's no longer there, but she was so supportive, and she said, you know, Audrey, I'm making all these movies this year. Why don't you send me some ideas? So I sent her, you know, some pitches and thought, I'll just stick this last one in there, but maybe she won't like it. And then she called me and said, I love the last pitch, we're gonna make it. And this was February, and she said the movie's going to air in October, and I had just sent her a pitch. There was no page of the script written. So I had to work really fast to work on the script, but she was a great partner and a great collaborator, and that was the first movie that I ever had made, and that's called Love, Fall, and Order.
We've had our farm for 3 generations. Don't you think we know where the property lines are?
I guess the judge will have to decide that.
Okay.
Well, that went well.
The dog is so cute. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
really, I'm so glad it all worked out. So that was like boot camp.
Yeah.
You know, if I hadn't been in a boot camp before, that was my writing boot camp.
I love that so much. And then from there, you've worked on several.
I've worked on a number of movies. So I love this one with Alan Leach and Joanna Garcia Swisher. This was a rewrite. This was, they had a script that had some issues that they were trying to figure out, and said, would you be willing to come in and try and rewrite it and tell it, you know, and fix it up so we can shoot it in 5 minutes. So I read the script and very quickly tried to make it ready to shoot. This was another one that was a rewrite, The 27-Hour Day. This is about a girl who's all about time multitasking and needs to kind of slow down, but her business is called The 27-Hour Day. This was a rewrite as well, and I think a pretty quick turnaround.
That's so amazing.
But I've been very lucky. I would say, and this one was also, I came in, I think, maybe a draft or 2 into the script.
Nora?
I mean, we're doing this, right? It's what he wished for.
The fact that you're doing this for your dad, I have faith you'll find your way.
Most of my work for the Hallmark Channel has been, we have something that has some issues, we still want to make it work, can you take a look and let us know what's not working and try and do a pass and have it ready to shoot very soon.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think Love, Fall, and Order was maybe the only one I have written from scratch.
Written from scratch.
Yeah. And then this was the last one I did, which is a good lesson for everyone. I did the first pass and someone else did the other passes. Oh. So sometimes, you know, this is what happens when you're a professional writer. You play one part, but maybe not all the parts, and how the script gets made.
There's something about this place.
This is the best Christmas I've had in a long time.
Scotland forever!
A Merry Scottish Christmas.
Oh, that's so cool. Yes, Hallmark. I love it. Yeah, the man in the kilt.
Yeah.
I love Scottish Christmas.
Yeah, I love Scott Wolf in the kilt.
That is amazing.
Well,
I
thanks,
mean,
MK.
And I guess when I think of Hallmark, I think of their Christmas movies.
Yes.
To me, but I love this.
Yes.
they got fall, they got St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I think I have written a movie for every single season. I feel very lucky.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Crash course in
Yeah,
that.
you gotta have all the seasonal stuff.
So what, since they are kind of in every season, what do you think they are looking for in general with their stories? Like what do you see as like the common through line for them?
Sure. It's funny because I think it's really broadened and it's really broadening and opening up over the few years that I have been working with them, because it used to always be like a girl comes home to her small town from the big city.
Mm-hmm.
She has an interaction with like someone that she grew up with. They fall for each other, and then there's like, you know, something going on in the background, like a fair or a festival. But they're kind of moving away from that. You know, my Christmas movie for them is about 3 sisters. The romance is a very, very small part of the story, and it's about the sisters repairing their relationship, and that's why I was really excited about coming onto it. They're, I think, just trying to tell more diverse stories and more stories that are not expected, while still having kind of special, feel-good, uplifting messaging. So I think it's really changing. I would say family is always really important. Maybe beautiful seasonal appeal is very important to them. But yeah, I admire that they're trying to tell kind of different stories now.
I love that.
Maybe even about like an older couple too. You don't have to be, you know, 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
30 is the age.
Yeah, 30 is the cap.
Coming home, high
Yeah.
school lover
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's it.
No, I love that. I think that's so great that it's all this, you know, because the human experience is very
Yeah.
diverse. So.
And more opportunities for actors and stories that people haven't gotten to hear yet.
Yeah. So it's interesting with you having some of those been the rewriter and then some of those been the first pass that then eventually does get rewritten. What in general, though, is the Hallmark family like as far as getting scripts made? Is it they kind of have their in-house team? You know, you worked on one film, so they're like, great, we'll have Audrey in mind for everything else. Do they take pitches, open writing assignments? Yeah, can you explain more of like the structure
Sure.
of Hallmark?
It's such a specialized world. You know, we write in 9-act structures, which is very unusual, and not 3. I know there are a lot of commercial breaks you have to kind of allow for.
Right.
But I would say there are writers that you'll see that just do tons of these movies because like they just speak the language and they're very, very good at it. As far as I know, they do not have, you know, open submissions or open pitches. I wish they did, but I think it's this, you know, this specialized kind of little niche in the industry. So
I love it. If you're in, you're in.
if you're in, you're lucky, and
You got
get
in. That's amazing.
Thanks to my nice mentor.
We love mentors. We love friends.
Yeah,
we love all
female
these
mentors, they make everything happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So with pitching in general, any tips on pitching, best practices?
Oh my gosh.
Because that's a whole other part of it.
Be as prepared as possible, have multiple ideas. You don't want to go into a meeting and just have one idea and they don't like it and then you have nothing else to talk about. I practice pitching a lot. I practice for my husband. I might practice for my writers group just to make sure I'm really prepared. I'm not the best pitcher in the whole world, no surprise to anyone. But I think to just be as prepared as possible and have your story really down, and that like your excitement about the story is coming through. You're not just reading your words off of your Zoom, you know, screen. Your excitement about the project is really able to come through, and to just be able to answer any questions about it. You know, just to be kind of know it inside out and upside down, to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I hope that is helpful for anyone working on a pitch.
No, that is, and I do know though, you know, within the industry, and you were talking about with your mentor, she kind of said, hey, any ideas? So then it seems like, yeah, you were able to go to her with just a very general,
Yes.
soft, not a full treatment outline.
And since we already knew each other, I think, and she knew that I was, you know, a hard worker and had written a lot of scripts, just none of them had been made. I think she knew I was kind of ready to. So that was a really great opportunity. Very, very lucky that happened.
Yeah, that's so great. So let's talk more about romantic comedies,
Yes.
rom-coms,
Yes.
in general. So whether it's Hallmark or any of the big studios or even indie companies, what do you see right now like what are people looking for right now in the industry?
Sure. Gosh, I wish I was cool enough and in demand enough to know more about what everyone's looking for. I think that people just always want a great hook, right? Like something no one's seen before. A great love story, you know, these people who either hate each other or can't be together for a certain reason, like all the tension. And I just think a really cool arc for the main character, something that we haven't seen before. So I wish I had like some secret, cool, you know, secret, great, detailed answer, but I think people just want to see things that they haven't seen before, that are familiar, but that they haven't seen before.
Yeah. Do you consider Sitting in Bars with Cake a romantic comedy?
I think I do, and the romance is really between the girls and their friendship. I think it's just about these two girls that love each other, and the boyfriend stuff is really on the side.
Yeah. I love that. I was very pleasantly surprised with how the story unfolds with that. Seeing the poster now and the tagline, I'm like, oh, it's about these women, which is fabulous. But I think that's great, and I think that's something what you're talking about of it's just a fresh insight into that world, which is just feel good, makes you happy. You know, do you love rom-coms?
I do love rom-coms. You know, I'm a picky rom-com viewer, but so many of my favorite romantic comedies, because I feel like there was kind of a blip. Like there were a lot when I was in high school, and then people were afraid to make them, and now a lot of them are happening again. Yeah. So many of my favorite romantic comedies are like from when I was growing up, like 10 Things I Hate About You and Never Been Kissed. This is not a romantic comedy, but Ever After. It is, there are funny moments in it, but I just love that Drew Barrymore's character stands up for herself at the end, spoiler alert, and doesn't need the prince.
It's been out long enough, I think we're okay.
I think I can ruin it. But I just love when the female character has that initiative and doesn't really need the guy after all.
Who needs them?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I'm feeling like a Drew Barrymore through line as well for you. I mean, she was the rom-com queen for a minute there.
Yes.
So what is your favorite like comfort rom-com? If you're like, I just need to be in my feels right now. Which one of those are you turning to?
Is it so selfish? I'd like to just watch my own movie. I was sick on Christmas and I watched it in bed.
I love it. That's beautiful.
But I just watch it and cry every time.
I cried when I watched it.
Spoiler alert. It's an emotional movie.
You're gonna cry. I mean, it's gorgeous. I love that.
I guess I'll be really selfish and choose my own. But,
no, that's fabulous. It's a true story. It's a real true story, and it's really beautiful. And like, what a special thing that you get to have that, you know, for yourself and to share with others. I love that. What are you working on now?
Sure. So I'm working on another romantic comedy. I'm working on a new feature idea. I'm doing a revision of my spec script that is for no one. And I am hoping that I'm developing a TV pitch as well. So we'll see. That will be my first foray into TV in a really long time.
Amazing.
And maybe a Christmas movie. We'll see how this week goes.
We'll see how this week goes.
We'll see how this week
will
goes.
Determine whether or not you are making a Christmas movie.
Yes.
I love that. I have so many more questions on that, but I'm going to let that sit in your universe.
Yeah, we'll just all hope good things.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so now we are going to jump into a brand new segment called Smash Cut.
Okay.
Or maybe Smash Cut. I don't know. We're working with it. Okay. You are our first victim.
I'm very honored. I hope I do a good job. Okay.
This is a big deal, okay? This is, the pressure is on. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to run through as many questions as we can in 2 minutes. Okay. Just like rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if anybody's actually going to be timing us, but just imagine.
Okay, just go fast.
The clock is running. Okay. If you don't answer it quickly, you will get slimed. Okay.
I'm going to get this cake in my face.
Yes,
okay.
I'll throw the cake in your face. Okay. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Writing in the morning or at night?
Morning.
Which comes first, plot or characters?
Ooh. Depends on the project. I'll say plot.
Plot, okay.
Well, it should be character, but I'm going to say plot. Okay.
Plot. Okay. Writing in a coffee shop or home office? Home.
Never a coffee shop.
Okay.
Too loud.
Too loud. Favorite drink while writing?
Oh, instant coffee. I'm so trashy. Okay.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Silence or music when writing?
Silence. Absolute silence.
Silence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hard with a toddler.
Yeah, hard with a toddler. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite comfort movie?
My
Sending
own.
a right,
So
okay.
annoying. Okay.
Digital notes or handwritten notes?
Like thank you notes or for my
Script notes.
script notes? That makes more sense based on where we are. Digital notes.
But if you're writing thank you notes, that's amazing. It's a lost art form.
I guess handwritten to start and digital later. It is a lost art form. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
Have you ever collaborated with another writer?
Yes.
Amazing. Have you completed every script you've started?
Oh gosh, no. I'd like to meet the person who has.
Is there an adaptation or reboot that you wish that you had been able to take a crack at?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm not going to be able to think of an answer right now. So probably yes, but to be continued.
To be continued.
To be answered later.
To be answered later. Amazing. Well, those are the questions. So
great.
that's Smash Cut,
I did it
everybody.
really fast.
You did it
I was
so
worried I was going to get in trouble.
That's such a great job. I put a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, I was nervous.
So, I mean, I could sit here with you all night and eat this
MK,
cake
you don't
with you.
have to.
And
You've got
just
stuff to
chat.
do.
No, I do want to. But there are other people in this room. So I do think it's only fair
Yes.
that we turn to our lovely studio audience and
That
give
sounds
them
great.
a chance to ask you some questions.
Sure.
So let's do that.
Okay, great.
Hi, so I know also you briefly talked about pitching. A lot of times when people are referencing their script, they'll use popular movies and TV shows to kind of give the people an idea of what their show's about. Did you do the same with your movie Sitting in Bars with Cake?
It's possible that the producers use comparable titles when they were describing the movie. Since I had already written the script, I never had to pitch it. It was all completed as a, polished sample for them to read. But I think if we were going in to pitch it, we would have totally come up with, like modern day beaches, friendship story with love and adventure. So I think that's usually a great thing to incorporate into your pitch, but I didn't have to do it for this since the script was written.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Audrey. My name's Lisa Wright. First, I want to say thank you for being here and congratulations on your movie. I was reading an interesting statistic, like only 1 out of every 5,000 films actually gets made out of 50,000.
Wow.
Screenwriter Guild submissions, only 150 get made, so big kudos to you. And so I was wondering with that, is there anything that you feel like that you would tell your younger self on the steps? You said it took us a 9-year journey. What would you tell yourself starting out about this whole process?
It will be hard, but keep going. I was just having a conversation with Mark earlier. I feel like you can be a really hard worker, you can be really talented, but everyone just needs an opportunity and to get lucky. And I was so lucky that my mentor took it upon herself to send a copy of my book to the producer that ended up making the movie. So I feel like I would just give myself the encouragement, keep writing, because it really should just be for you, even if it never is something that gets made or that anyone sees. Even though it's easier than ever to make our own work now with our phones and our editing software built into our computers. But I would just give myself the encouragement to keep writing because I love to write.
With Hallmark, it's a little different. Could you speak more about, because you were talking a little bit about the 9 structure and how you fit in the wound? Is it a real wound or is it more of a scratch that they're dealing with?
Sure. I feel like I may have said Hallmark writers kind of have to speak this specific language in terms of the conflict and the tone and how deep you're willing to go. So I do think it's a scratch, not a wound, or it's a wound that is not so painful to see that we cannot feel uplifted at the end of the movie. Whereas my Amazon movie really is, about loss and tragedy and illness and deals with death. And I do feel like that movie is still uplifting at the end. So I guess I would just think about what story are you trying to tell, especially if it's not for anyone and you kind of have to cater to their mandates or their messages. So I guess whatever is in best service of your story.
So thank you. And it's sort of exciting that you were saying that Hallmark is branching out a little bit and starting to incorporate other types of romances and other types of that's pretty great.
Yeah,
so that's exciting.
Well, thanks so much. Such a great question.
Good. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Hi, I'm Holly, and I have a question regarding music. Do you ever put musical notes in your scripts, things that you would prefer in terms of music?
I wish I did. I think sometimes I will put something like this song plays, but I guess I'm aware that someone who is much better at music than I am, who this is their expertise, is going to come in and change everything anyway. So if it helps to kind of set the tone for something, I'll include something, but otherwise I'll let the musical experts do the selections.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Holly.
Sadly, we are out of time. Audrey, thank you again for coming on here.
Thank you all for having me.
And
it's been so
sharing
fun.
your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, and just know that this is now your formal invitation to come back anytime.
That's so nice.
I have the power to say that.
Thank you so much.
Anytime,
Thank you so much, MK.
You're here, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Page to Screen is sponsored by the Tennessee Screenwriting Association. To find out more about the TSA, including our meeting schedule or to become a member, visit us online at www.tennnscreen.com. For the most up-to-date info on Page to Screen air dates and guests, check us out on Facebook and on Instagram. And you can check out our archive of past episodes on our YouTube channel. I am MK Kopp. Thank you again for watching Page to Screen. And remember, keep on writing and keep on learning.
Someone told me once, perfection is the antithesis of being done. And I think so often we can get really precious about our work and our art, which is amazing, and it's great to honor it in that way and be sacred. But, you know, we all know the person who's been holding on to the same screenplay for years and years and years and years. And to me, it's really tragic when those stories never get made.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just have to like let go a little bit and be like, I'm not going to be so, you know, cling on to this so much that it just never has life. Mm-hmm. So make your stories and believe and trust that you'll have another good idea.